Okay, guys, we have a lot to talk about on the Lori Vallow Daybell trial, day 1 and 2. Remember yesterday, Lori looked like she was going to fall over at any second. She said she needed a wheelchair. They wouldn't allow it, so she hobbled to her table. But today in court, she didn't look so dramatic. So what's going on with Lori? Well, let's look back to some of the people that knew her best and their description of her character. And I believe these are very important to remember. David Warwick described Lori as dramatic. Melanie Gibb said she's never seen so much drama. Then Melanie Boudreaux said, Lori always has a plan. It's so good that these kind, honest people were so open with us. We all know that's not the case. In fact, if they hadn't been caught, do you think they would still be conspiring and planning other people's murders as a group? Anyways, going over Lori's characteristics, what we know about her and her history, 5 years of it. Lori may be a little sick, not saying she isn't, but most likely she's trying to use that to her advantage. Guys, this is my opinion, by the way. She doesn't care about trial even at this point, I don't think. She is obsessed with taking down this judge. Now remember, she just had a court hearing with another judge trying to get this judge removed off of her case. And that judge said, you know what? No way, Lori Vallow. Kind of told her that she was in the wrong place asking for, the wrong thing, that maybe she ought to try a different route. And Lori did take notes that day, and you could see that light bulb light up in her head. Perhaps she was stalling. Well, those ideas were kind of ringing true to the possibility that she wanted to take a different route and continue to get rid of this judge. She even told Judge Boreski, I have another motion. You wouldn't guess, guys. Lori isn't over this judge. She is continuing to try to fight and get him thrown out of her courtroom. Today, they did open with, it's supposed to be opening statements, okay? But I just think of it as opening arguments when you're dealing with Lori, because hers, that's what it is. And let me tell you, I really was sweating Charles Vallow's trial. There wasn't a lot going on for him, in that trial. But Brandon Boudreaux, well, there's a ton of evidence to show there is a boatload of conspiracy going on. Brandon Boudreaux has footage, neighbors to testify. Some of that footage includes storage video. They have text messaging and GPS information. And Treena Kay, the prosecutor, has it all lined up perfectly to show that Lori played a big role in the attempted shooting of Brandon Boudreaux on October 2nd of 2019. So what did we notice about Lori during today's trial? Well, Lori wasn't hobbling. She didn't seem to need a wheelchair. Her voice seemed to be working great. She didn't seem to have any type of sinus issues and that required tissues or anything like that. Her main goal was to stall. So Brandon Boudreaux was the first witness Treena Kay called to the witness stand. And guys, I have seen a lot with this case, and I've covered it for 5 years, and I don't have as many cheers as the beginning of this case. But watching Brandon Boudreaux testify, what his wife, Melanie Boudreaux at the time, did to him, what she said to him, and the pain she caused him was just plain cruel. Watching Brandon having to relive all of that, this will be the last time, thank God. was painful, and you could see that it was still painful to Brandon. Brandon Boudreaux, being the trooper that he is, pulled through just fine. But anyone who suspected that Melanie Budro Kowalski played a bigger role in all this chaotic mess got a better confirmation today after Brandon Boudreaux's testimony. Brandon Boudreaux actually testified he only gave his address to a certain amount of people. His wife at the time, Melanie, and a few friends. They shared new information, GPS information, that Alex Cox was somewhere in the vicinity of Melanie Boudreaux's home. Knowing how Lori has a plan, I wonder how that worked into all that. We learned some new information, and one of the bits of information we learned was Alex Cox evidently searched for Brandon's address. He was using a burner phone and left his phone with his sister Lori back in Idaho. According to investigators, when he left his phone at Lori's apartment, it even talked to Lori's phone for minutes and minutes. How suspicious can that be? It's interesting that Melanie didn't seem to know that Brandon planned to go to the gym. And she thought, well, he's just going to go straight home. There was a hint that investigators might have thought that Melanie played a bigger role in the attack that day than what we were led to believe initially when we were told the story. And as we listen to that evidence come out, I've become more and more triggered. Why? I'm thinking, why is this girl running free and not behind bars? We learned that investigators initially seen Melanie as a co-conspirator, and that they believed that she had more to do with what was planned for Brandon that day than she admitted to. Okay, Arizona, what is going on? Why is it that all these women are not being held accountable? Chad Daybell got his death penalty easy peasy, and Lori got hers thrown out. Melanie Gibb is free. Selima's free. And Melanie Kowalski is free. And there were people that said, Lori getting life is going to be harder on her than if she received the death penalty. Hello? No. She's going to continue to destroy lives like the people behind bars with her, the staff. That's exactly who Lori is. That's exactly what she does, is destroy. And so seeing many of these people just get slaps on a hand, it's been triggering me. This torture will continue in the courtroom. She will try her best to make Brandon look like he's the problem and he's the liar. Immediately in her open arguments, she started to make the jury believe that she's this great, beautiful, loving woman. Don't you know that Lori loves everyone? In my honest opinion, I'm sure it's your opinion as well, that Lori was straight up trying to manipulate and run the jury. I'm pretty sure that the thousands and thousands of people that follow this story all vomited at once when they heard that. If only there were cameras or witnesses, and that way it could be put into the Guinness's Book of World Records. This is the woman that killed her own children, killed her lovers, or helped kill her lover's wife, her husband Charles. Don't forget about Joe Ryan has question marks. And now the attack on Brandon. So it seems Lori is absolutely relying on the jury being oblivious. She's banking on it, and she's relying on her pure manipulation skills. We even had text messages come out that we've never seen before, and that's where Brandon was kind of reaching out to Charles Vallow and Lori to ask them, basically, what are you guys doing? Could you please just step back and leave his family alone? Again, you could step back, watch Brandon as he read through these texts, and notice that he was still absolutely traumatized by what happened in the year 2019. We finally got to see pictures of Brandon Boudreaux's Tesla the day that Alex Cox shot at him. And I was very upset that we didn't see more investigating on the direction of the bullet maybe later. Where are the trajectories, guys? anyways, if you don't know it already, I'm not the biggest fan of the Arizona investigation team on this. In fact, the private investigator that Brandon hired after this incident, Rich Richardson, said that Brandon didn't feel confident with the investigation. It seemed that Brandon didn't feel like they were taken seriously, just like Charles did, and Kay. And, I'm really shocked that they have enough evidence to even go to trial. Looking at these photographs, oh my, I mean, look at the top of his seat. It's not far from that gash. I'm wondering if the Tesla is the reason he's alive today. It's so surreal when they pulled out all of these pictures we've never seen before. The old pictures, we could hardly see anything. And the pictures we're seeing today, man, Brandon was lucky. I heard that the Windows and Teslas are pretty strong, but darn. Now, for some reason, I can't upload as quick as all these big networks, so I'm really struggling to try to get these things out as quick as I would like. I absolutely love sharing these videos and seeing your responses to what I say and see, what do you guys think? I definitely want to share them on the next few videos. Now, we did find out that Lori was blaming her investigator on her team for not responding to her, so she couldn't get what she needed in order to do her cross with Brandon Boudreaux. So instead of releasing Brandon Boudreaux, like what should have most likely happened, he was called to come back again. So there's an interesting thought for this. Is the investigator avoiding Lori, or is this just another planned strategy for the team? If you think that Lori can't get people to throw their ethics down the toilet, well, I think you're wrong. And she's done it multiple times. I'm so sorry, guys, about the audio. Anyways, she has done it with her brother. She's done it with friends. She's done it with her family. And she especially has done it with her attorneys. Lori Vallow Daybell is very good at puppeteering people and getting what she wants from them, whether it's moral or ethical or not. I believe that this woman's favorite puppet in the 5 years was Mark Means, hands down. Man, he was easy. So at this point, that judge is having to watch her closely and figure out, what's up her sleeves, and he needs to be ready. A lot of us have seen that demeanor change this trial. A lot of people believe that her sickness was not real, but an opportunity for her to work or manipulate something. He has to keep his eye on the witnesses and protect them. I've often wondered if Summer Shiflett and others like that are looking back and seeing her actions and how manipulative she is and wanting to kick themselves in the butt. There's no doubt in my mind that many of these people are seeing it right now. They're seeing that she's great at making herself look like a damsel and a victim. What is it like to deal with Lori? Well, my opinion is it's like being blindfolded, then being told to stick your hand into a vase. You don't know what's in there. You can't figure out if it's a surprise or something to scare you. But while you're doing it, Lori's laughing and goofing off, so that throws you off. But in reality, she has stuck in 10 cobras, so you're definitely going to get bit. If the first one doesn't work, the second might, and, well, it's just endless chances. Very dangerous. That's what they're working with in court. These are the things they have to think about, how to protect themselves. Though you have an idea, you can see everything going on, you feel like you're wearing a blindfold. And you cannot read her enough to know when something dangerous is coming. So I just made a laid back video where we just discuss, what we saw in court. And I'll try to get some more videos out that are more detailed. Just until then, just share your comments, guys. I want to know how you feel. Let's see who knows Lori best. What do you expect to see in court the next few days? Don't forget about our missing babies here. Make sure that you share their faces on your social media today. Their families would appreciate it. Love you guys. See you guys soon.